Let's start from the beginning. Tell me about the day it happened, what you were doing when this occurred.
It was on just this last Tuesday, the 13th. I had a day off from work and I decided to go, express my First Amendment rights down at the Whipple Federal Building, where a lot of the protesters have been gathering. I decided to go there mainly because I do worry about like interfering on the street with what they're doing. I mean, I've seen lots of video. Honestly, I thought I would be a little safer at the Whipple building than if I was like trying to interfere with some kind of action they were doing out in the streets. So that's kind of why I chose to go there.
And you were there to protest.
Yeah, yep. I just showed up, just winter gear. I wore some protective gear because there was lots of warnings that if you protest, be aware that you could be gassed or attacked. And I mean, I didn't honestly, think I would be attacked, but but I'm glad I did wear some protective gear.
Yeah. So originally you made a Reddit post saying I was assaulted and detained by ICE at the Whipple building. Ask me anything. And that's kind of
Sure.
where you and I met because I said, "Hey, I'm a local reporter and if you're ready to tell your story, I would love to hear it and share it with others that are looking for other people's stories right now."
Sure.
So, getting to the moment that you were detained, before that happened, what was going on? Was there a surge? Were you doing anything in particular? And then you saw officers? Were officers already on the scene?
So throughout the morning, I was there for about maybe 2.5 hours before my incident happened. So it was just people sitting across the street from the entrance of the Whipple. And, I, like many other people, were shouting, how angry we were. I probably wasn't using the most PG language, but what I said really is irrelevant because it's just my First Amendment. I wasn't saying or doing anything different than anyone else out there. Um, every now and then they would kind of come out across the street in line and kind of shoot pepper balls into the street to sort of get the crowd to back up. And they did that maybe 2 or 3 times prior. So that wasn't that insane. It wasn't really aggressive either. They'd shoot it at the ground, just enough irritant to get people to kind of back up across the street. But it was usually happened without incident. And then um, at during that point, a lot of ICE officers were driving in and out of the facility. Many of them flicking us off. Being smartasses back, which is fine. It's probably expected. But and then the last time they kind of came out, I started to back up again because I thought it was just going to be the pepper balls. And I kind of started turning to kind of keep walking back. And I was totally slammed. It was like blindsided by all the officers. And at the time, I didn't realize that I was the only one they attacked. I assumed a lot of people were getting arrested. Um, but no, they held me down and it was the weight of I don't know however many men. It was all kind of happened so fast. My face was kind of pushed into the concrete. I just felt like elbows or knees to my sides, to my back, to my legs. And then I was held down, and I don't know if they were searching me, but I was held down and just kind of roughed up for a good minute or two before they finally lifted me up and walked me back to the building.
Wow. So you said you were blindsided. Were you hit from the side, from behind?
Hit me from the left side. Like I actually was wearing a body camera and I finally looked at all the footage yesterday and I wasn't even looking towards the cops when I got hit. Or the ICE officers, I was kind of turned to the side and they came at me from the left. And when you watch the video, you can kind of see that I wasn't running, I wasn't fighting, I wasn't doing anything. I was just kind of walking at a normal pace. And then I just got slammed. And then everything went dark after that.
You said you were the only one that was
Mhm.
treated like this, which
At
came
that,
as
at
a
that,
shock.
sorry, at that moment, I mean, I was aware that it happened to somebody earlier that day before I was
Okay.
there. And I'm sure it's happened a few times since I left. But that particular action was just about me, it seemed.
So you were detained, you were handcuffed, I assumed, and then you said walked to the Whipple building.
Yep.
From the point of getting into the Whipple building beyond, what happened? Because that's when suddenly you are just in officer custody. You're no longer outside in the public zone.
Yep. So when they brought me in, I never made it past the lobby. I was sat down like on a lobby chair next to a couple offices. Um, they I don't know. I never made it to like the formal cells that they supposedly have that other people have said. But I could hear there was a lot of stuff going on in there, a lot of confusion. I guess I'll just walk you through moment to moment from when I got there.
Yeah,
They
please.
sat me down. They sat me down, and I was guarded by one of the. I should probably try to differentiate the two. So there were DHS police that were wearing uniforms, and then there
Hmm.
were the ICE and DHS officials that wear like the full army camouflage kit. All right,
Okay. So
and
which
so
ones arrested you versus inside?
when I was outside, it was the camouflaged like ICE guys.
Mhm.
Inside, then I was in custody of the DHS police, and
Okay.
I'll refer to them as the uniformed officers, if that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
So once I was inside, I was still under guard by one ICE officer with the camouflage and the face mask. And I kind of, was asking if they could loosen my cuffs. I got a bad shoulder. I'm a tattoo artist, and I just want to make sure my hands and arms are gonna be okay.
It's a
And
priority for you.
yeah. And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. Eventually, I was trying to make a little small talk with him. I was asking him where he's from, and he looked like he was Hispanic or brown of some sort. He said he was from New York. I asked him if he really believed in what they were doing and thought that what they were doing was the right thing. He said absolutely. And I asked him why, and he said, keeping Americans safe. And I thought that was
Mhm.
quite funny. Um, Couple things to note. I was never read my Miranda rights. No one ever read me my rights. And then at this point, they started collecting my personal effects. They put them on a table next to me, out of reach, but next to me. And all I had was like in my backpack, I had like a couple bottles of water, trail mix, real terrorist stuff. And the one thing that was missing was a body cam that I had on. And
Right.
I asked one of the uniformed officers if they could go find it, and he said he'd go look for it. And I kind of said, I really don't trust that you'll find it. And he said, I will try. I understand. And he did. He came back with it maybe about an hour later, which I thought was telling, And so, and then while I was sitting there, I was asked probably two or three times by various officers who my arresting officer was, which was hilarious because everyone had masks on. I didn't know who they were, unidentifiable.
So all the guys
Um,
outside were masked and all the guys inside were unmasked.
the uniformed officers were unmasked.
Okay.
The ones that looked like they're ready to go to Fallujah, always wearing masks. Like even inside, they were wearing masks. Yes.
Hmm.
And so, I made a little bit of small talk. Like I said, the uniformed officers were actually pretty respectful towards me. They treated me like a human. The other guys, not so much. They were really happy to take me down. They seemed to be like sort of hoo-ah celebrating, which I thought was hilarious because I was completely outnumbered. I didn't even put up a fight. I would have happily put my arms out and been arrested if they just asked me. I wasn't there to get beat up. So,
So they didn't
so
ask you or say, "Hey, I'm detaining you."
no, they didn't say get on the ground or put your hands on up in the sky or anything. Like I said, I didn't even know they were addressing me. I mean, if you watch some of the footage that's out there, there's some of it. I've been able to collect some footage from other people filming there, like Reuters and the various news outlets. I pulled it from their live feed.
Hmm.
Um, there was nothing clear that I was a subject of what they were looking for. Yeah, it was like it was total blindsided. I mean, it was meant. I think it was meant to sort of take me off guard.
Did they
So.
say why they were detaining you?
I immediately asked as I was walking back if I was being arrested or detained, and they just said they just kept saying, "I'm not the one to ask. I'm not the one to ask." And so
Mm.
um, I'd never had my Miranda rights read to me, and they just kept saying, we'll get to you soon, we'll get to you soon, we'll get to you soon. Sorry, cut that off here. And so, they didn't, I wasn't interrogated. The only questions I was asked a couple times by a couple different people there, like what organization I was with. They asked if I participated in any other protests around the country. They seemed to think that I was like traveling around and protesting them in various areas. Probably, maybe they thought I was like one of those like TikTok influencer types, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. Just a old 50-year-old guy just going out to protest on my day off. And so they seemed really concerned about that was, you know, and so based on some of that, I kind of believe that these people really were like sort of true believers. I think they really think that they were doing the right thing. It didn't really feel malicious, but it definitely felt malicious. Like I don't think I think they were all believing they're doing the right thing. So I found that interesting. So I tried to appeal to some of their humanity about my arm being twisted up, and I was being friendly with them, saying, "Can you?" So eventually, they did loosen my cuffs.
Okay.
Um, and even during that, there was a couple of weird moments where I think they put a knife of another guy. I don't know where he was, but they set some other effects on the table to my left. And one was like a big 12-inch Bowie knife. And I absolutely could have grabbed it if I wanted to. And I even kind of said to one of the officers, I'm like, you really going to leave a knife sitting that close to me? So, like, I will say that everything felt really unprofessional and strange and chaotic and unorganized. The fact that they were asking me who my arresting officer, I thought was hilarious because, like, I don't know why they would expect me to know that. Um, and then, they didn't really ask me many questions. They just waited I think they ran a criminal background check on me and they were just waiting for that to clear. And then they gave me my violation citation. And
So
it
you
said
were charged in the
I was,
end.
yeah, I was charged. I was charged with obstruction of justice and impeding with the federal officer's duties. So,
Okay. Where where do you go from there then if you were just released after that with a charge? What happens next?
well, I guess how I was released was really funny. I mean, they just kind of walked me out, and they walked me to one end of the parking lot, and then they were like, "Oh, this isn't the right way." And then they walked me to the other end of the parking lot, and it just felt like a restaurant on opening day. Like no one knew what they were doing. But
Mm.
as far
Was
as
the
the chart,
scene like that inside as well? Was it kind of just chaotic with other detainees? You said you didn't really see many other detainees, but
yeah, I only saw a couple other people. The only people I saw that were detainees were definitely citizens, American citizens. I didn't see anyone brought there because I'm assuming anyone that they were dealing with there were mostly probably just protesters, I'm guessing.
mhm.
But it was absolute, yeah, chaos. Nothing seemed organized. It seemed really unprofessional, slapped together. I mean, there was no reason for them to think, why would I know who my arresting officer is when everyone's wearing masks and they don't have names or badges or anything on there. So I thought, and it was just, I was kind of just sort of gobsmacked to just look around and watch everything. I was there for probably about 2 hours, I would say, inside. And then as far as the charges go, they explained that it wasn't an admission of guilt of mine, that I would be contacted within the next 60 days and given a court date. But they said court is mandatory. It's not a fine. I don't know what the penalties will be. I'm still kind of figuring out lawyer stuff.
Mhm.
I imagine a lot of lawyers are quite busy right now. So a couple people have gotten back to me. So that's sort of my mission for the next week. But yeah, as far as the charges go, I mean, I heard that a lot of people were sort of arrested and then detained and then let go with just like some kind of fine. But like maybe it's because it's federal, it's mandatory to go to court. I guess I'm not sure. I don't really know what all the legal implications are for me yet.
So there
But
there wasn't much information given.
no, no, they didn't ask me if I needed any medical care. I didn't really think I did, to be honest, because I think the adrenaline was flowing. And it wasn't
Mhm.
until a couple hours later I realized I was in a lot of pain. So.
What injuries did you suffer?
I would probably, to be honest, I didn't go to the hospital. I was very angry. I just wanted to get home. And I felt like I might have, like, if I were to guess, a cracked or really bruised rib. My rib cage is very, very sore moving around. Like today is the first day I can actually, like, I've actually left the house since. Um, and but nothing serious as far as injuries go. So because I never went to the hospital, but definitely banged up and hurt and traumatized for sure. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to dig up or re-traumatize you about how you're feeling. You've gotten some space from the incident, but I imagine that emotions are probably going to be running high for quite a while.
yeah, I kind of, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of a wave of like sad for what's happening in this country to a lot of, to be honest, it's a lot of anger. I mean, I was so angry about Renee Good being killed, and now you tack on everyone else's problems that they're having with ICE on top of that. So yeah, I'm pretty angry more than anything, but it's a wave of emotions. I feel very happy though that I have a good network of friends and community that are supportive. So I'm doing all right.
That's good to hear that you have people around you to talk to and to give you support. Do you think that you will be protesting again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a question that a lot of people have asked me, and I mean, excuse me, I'm still really sore. Yeah, I think the whole point of what happened to me was to keep me from protesting. I think they want to chill protesting. I think that's exactly why they're doing what they're doing. Um, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like it'll work. I mean, the more you push on people, the more resolve they seem to have. And I got to say, I'm pretty proud of Minnesota of what I've seen over the last few days. So
Well, Adam, thank you so much for talking to me about your experience. I really appreciate your time.
thank you.